You're not lonely, you're just too real for a world that thrives on fake. You've been told your standards are too high, your walls too thick, your silence too loud. But here's the truth, you're not broken, you're rare. And rarity comes with a price. Welcome to the Sigma Male community, where we don't just survive the solitude, we own it. Today we're diving deep into why Sigmas have zero friends. Not because we can't make them, but because we refuse to settle for less than we deserve. If you've ever felt like an outsider in a world obsessed with shallow connections, this video is your wake-up call. Buckle up because we're about to dismantle the myths, expose the betrayals, and reveal why your isolation isn't a flaw, it's your greatest strength. 1. Authenticity is your kryptonite and theirs. You walk into a room and the air shifts, not because you're loud or flashy but because you're real, and that terrifies people. Most live behind masks, reciting lines from a script they didn't write, asking, "How are you?" while praying for a lie. You answer with raw honesty, cut through subtle deceptions with a glance, and demand substance over empty platitudes. This isn't rudeness, it's a spotlight exposing their fragile charade, and they can't handle the glare. They'd rather drown in predictable fakeness than face the seismic shift your authenticity demands. Your very existence challenges their performance, silently judging the roles they play. That's the intimidation, not arrogance but unfiltered truth. The ancients understood this tension. Living in alignment with nature means shedding pretense, embracing what's real. You've chosen that path, but the world hasn't caught up. They call you too much, or too intense, but you're simply being yourself, and that's a rebellion they can't fathom. Your presence forces a choice: rise to your level or retreat to their comfort zone. Most choose the latter. This authenticity acts like a filter, repelling the shallow and drawing in the rare few who can match your depth. But those souls are scarce, and until they appear, you stand alone, not because you're unlovable but because you're uncompromising. You'd rather walk solo than dilute yourself for approval, a stance that carves a lonely but liberated path. In the end, your kryptonite doubles as your superpower. It isolates you from the masses but frees you from their illusions. That's a trait only a Sigma can embrace, a life of truth over a crowd of lies. 2. The Great Disillusionment, Trust's funeral pyre. There was a time you saw goodness everywhere, believing that treating others well guaranteed the same in return. You gave trust freely, expecting loyalty to hold firm. Then reality struck. Promises faded like mist, loyalty buckled under pressure, and honesty was met with punishment. Maya Angelou's words hit hard. When people show you who they are, believe them. Each betrayal wasn't just a sting, it was a torch lighting the funeral pyre of your naive faith, burning away illusions about human nature. The Stoics taught us to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. You took that lesson and rebuilt your perspective on ashes, stronger, lonelier, wiser. Trust stopped being a gift and became a privilege, earned through actions, not words. This wasn't bitterness, it was clarity forged in fire, a recognition that most don't deserve a seat at your table. That clarity shrinks your circle, not out of spite but necessity. You've learned that quality trumps quantity, even if quality is a ghost in a crowd of pretenders. The disillusionment stings, but it's also a liberation. Freedom from chasing approval that never comes, from investing in those who'll never repay it. In the end, this isn't a tragedy, it's a triumph. You've turned pain into power, trading blind trust for self-reliance. The pyre still smokes, but it lights your way forward, alone and unburdened. 3. The fortress was forged in betrayal, not fear. They see your walls and call them cold, but they don't know the story etched in every brick. Each one's a scar: kindness exploited, vulnerability turned against you, confidence broken by those you let close. Society labels this damage, urging you to tear it down. They're wrong, it's a fortress built not from fear but from hard-earned strategy. Like a castle guarding its king, your boundaries protect what's sacred, letting in only those who've proven their worth. The Stoics knew we can't control others, only our response to them. You've responded by fortifying your soul, not out of paranoia but necessity. Experience taught you that depth demands defense. Open gates invite chaos while strong walls preserve peace. This isn't about hiding, it's about honoring what you've built within. Those walls don't just keep people out, they reveal who's worthy to enter. Most falter at the gate, unwilling to earn the key. That's their loss, not yours. You've turned betrayal into a blacksmith's forge, crafting resilience from the wreckage, and that's a strength they'll never grasp. In the end, your fortress stands as a monument to self-respect. It's not a prison, it's a throne. And only a Sigma rules from such a place, unshaken by a world that can't breach it. 4. The scarcity principle, born misfits. You're not just different, you're a glitch in the system, a round peg in a square hole world. Your craving for solitude gets called antisocial, your hunger for depth too intense. Finding someone who syncs with your wavelength feels like hunting a unicorn. Most are stuck on surface-level static, a frequency you ditched years ago. This isn't isolation by choice, it's the math of rarity, a clash between your limited edition soul and a mass-produced society. The Stoics remind us to accept what's beyond our control. You can't change your uniqueness, but you can own it. You stopped fighting to fit in and started thriving as the outlier you were born to be. That shift doesn't fill your phone with contacts, it deepens your bond with yourself. Being a misfit isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It demands self-reliance, forces you to find strength in your own company, and sets a bar few can reach. When connection does happen, it's rare and electric, but until then you're not waiting, you're living on your terms. In the end, scarcity makes you a king, not a beggar. You don't chase belonging, you define it. The world may never get it, but that's their problem, not yours. 5. Zero tolerance for bullshit, the non-negotiables. Mediocre friendships? No thanks. Half-hearted loyalty? Keep it. Most settle for scraps, excusing flakiness, swallowing disloyalty, enduring energy drains. Not you. Your standards aren't suggestions, they're ironclad. Honesty, integrity, loyalty, mutual investment. You give it fully and demand it back, no exceptions. What? Because you've seen the rot that creeps in when you lower the bar, and you'd rather stand alone than choke on crumbs. The Stoics prized control over the self above all. You can't force others to rise, but you can refuse to sink. That's not arrogance, it's dignity, a line in the sand that says, "This is who I am, take it or leave." Most leave, and that's fine, your peace outweighs their presence. This zero-tolerance stance is your shield, guarding against the leeches and liars who'd bleed you dry. It's not about perfection, it's about respect for yourself and what you bring. You'd rather have an empty circle than a toxic one, and that's a power move they'll never understand. In the end, your non-negotiables aren't just rules, they're your legacy. They carve a life of clarity and strength, proving that solitude beats compromise every time. If you're still here, locked into the Sigma male community vibe, you feel it, that quiet ache of standing apart. Choosing raw honesty over cheap applause cuts deep. It's walking away from crowds that beg you to conform, holding fast when they scream, "Just chill." This isn't weakness, it's the price of an untamed spirit. You've picked integrity over inclusion. Hold that truth tight when the noise gets loud. Your peace is worth more than their chaos. 6. Energy economics, the friendship reckoning. Friendship isn't free, it's a transaction, and you're no fool with your wealth. Time, focus, emotional bandwidth, these are gold, and Sigmas don't squander them. Keeping 20 shallow ties means diluting yourself, juggling obligations, and getting pennies on the dollar in return. You audit the cost. One real ally where energy flows both ways beats a dozen leeches. Why go broke for social clout when you can invest in what lasts? The Stoics valued their resources fiercely. You've learned that lesson. Every ounce of you is finite, and you'll be damned if it's wasted on the unworthy. This isn't stinginess, it's precision, a choice to pour into what fuels you, not drains you. Most can't handle that math. This reckoning shapes your world, small, tight, powerful. You're not antisocial. You're strategic, building a life where every connection counts. The crowd chases quantity, you master quality, and that's why you thrive where they stumble. In the end, energy economics isn't just survival, it's dominance. You've turned limits into leverage, and that's a game changer only a Sigma plays. 7. The crowd conundrum, where humanity degrades. Parties, mixers, big groups, to you they're chaos laps. Noise buries meaning, masks replace faces, gossip sparks fires. It's not anxiety, it's overload, watching the herd flex, shout, and bicker over nothing. You crave real connection, the kind that dies in the din. Why wade through humanity's low-rent rerun when your soul demands more? The Stoics sought tranquility above all. You found it, not in the roar of the crowd, but in the quiet where thought lives. You take one deep talk over 100 loud laughs, and that choice marks you as alien to the pack. They don't get it and you don't care. This isn't retreat, it's elevation. Crowds degrade what you value: clarity, depth, peace. You sidestep the mess, saving your strength for what matters, and that's a win they'll never taste. In the end, the conundrum's no puzzle, you've solved it. You don't belong with the many, you shine with the few. And that's your edge. 8. Conflict aversion as a superpower, not weakness. Drama's the world's drug. Sigma see it as poison. You don't dodge gossip, petty fights, or emotional storms because you're scared. You do it because it's beneath you. Letting chaos in is handing your power to clowns. Gandhi's call to be the change isn't soft. It's you carving a no-nonsense zone where peace reigns. Conflict junkies call you cold. You're just guarding your calm. The Stoics mastered this. Reactions are yours to rule. You don't bite at bait, not because you can't, but because you won't. Walking away isn't losing. It's winning on your terms, keeping your energy for battles that count. The circus can keep its rings. You've got a kingdom to run. This aversion's your strength, a filter that cuts the noisemakers loose. They thrive on mess. You rise above it, and that divide leaves you solo but solid. Most can't handle a man who won't play their game. In the end, it's not weakness, it's control. You've turned no into a weapon, and that's a power the drama chasers will never wield. 9. The exhaustion of explaining yourself. Why so quiet? Why not party? Loosen up. The barrage of whys from a world that doesn't get you is a slow bleed. They want you to twist into their loud, shallow mold, to justify your wiring like it's a flaw. Explaining who you are, over and over, drains you dry. You pull back, not to reject, but to preserve what's left of your spirit. The Stoics knew the mind's your domain, not theirs. You can't shift their lens, but you can stop begging them to see. Dropping the script, refusing to defend your essence, frees you from their court. They'll judge anyway, let them waste their breath. This retreat's no loss, it's a gain. Every step away from their demands is a step toward your truth. You're not here to translate yourself for the blind. You're here to live, and that's a solo mission when they won't listen. In the end, exhaustion's your signal, not your sentence. It shows you who's worth your words and who's not. That's a clarity worth keeping. 10. Selective authenticity, the ultimate filter. Your realness isn't a flood, it's a scalpel. You wield it with care, knowing most buckle under its weight. When someone can't take your honesty, match your loyalty, or ditches depth for fluff, you don't shut down, you shift gears. They get the surface, the nod, the bare minimum. The core stays locked for those who earn it. This isn't a mask, it's a gatekeeper. The Stoics chose their company wisely. You do too. Your soul's not a free-for-all, it's a privilege. Handing it to the wrong hands risks ruin. Saving it for the right ones builds gold. Most flunk the test, and that's their exit cue. This filter's ruthless but fair. It sifts the herd, leaving either silence or steel, nothing in between. You don't waste authenticity on the unworthy. You hoard it for the rare, and that's why your circle's small but mighty. In the end, selective authenticity's your ace. It guards your fire and lights your path, proving you don't need many, just the right ones. Or none at all. 11. Purposeful isolation, the strategic victory. This is it, the choice they mistake for fate. After the betrayals, the walls, the rarity, the standards, the energy trades, the crowd skips, the drama cuts, the explanations dropped, and the authenticity rationed, you land here. Solitude as a crown. No leashes, no fakes, no dances. Just you, your values, and a peace so deep it echoes. Zero friends? It's zero noise, zero sellouts, zero regrets. The Stoics found refuge in their own minds. You've built yours in isolation, not because you're forced but because you choose. It's control at its peak. No one to appease, nothing to bend. You're not running, you're ruling, and that's a summit most can't climb. This isn't a wound, it's a win. Every no to the world's pull is a yes to your soul, a life carved by your hands alone. They see loss, you see freedom, and that gap defines you. In the end, purposeful isolation's your throne. You've traded the crowd for clarity, and that's the Sigma victory, unshakable, untouchable, yours. You've made it to the end, and that's no accident. You're built different. You're not here for fluff or fairy tales. You're here for the raw, unfiltered truth that the Sigma male community delivers. This journey's lonely, but it's yours, a path of power, not pity. Take this fire and run with it. Reflect on who you are, apply what clicks, and own your solitude like the strength it is. Hit that like button if this struck a chord, drop a comment with your story, let's see who's out there vibing on this level. Share this with the rare ones who'd get it, and if you're subscribed, smash that bell, don't miss the next drop. Sigma Male Community isn't just a channel, it's your compass for stoic, unapologetic living. Stay sharp, stay solo, stay sovereign. Until next time.